Thank you, my friend. I'm always doing that. Missed my great intro, but thank you. Thank you so much. Who was that again? Wolfpack. Wolfpack. Thank you. And here's the funny thing. I'm constantly doing that to myself. I constantly mute myself, and I can mute myself from my little mixer board. And then just tonight, and this is a classic example of irony, ladies and gentlemen, I can also mute myself from the computer. And if I do that, the computer will put up a little note once it hears me speak into the mic. Once I speak into the mic, it'll put up a little note saying, just reminding me that I've muted myself. And I thought, oh, that'll be better. It did nothing, ladies and gentlemen. It did nothing. I didn't look at that note. I didn't see that note. I didn't see it at all. But hey, I see I've got some questions here. Can I just confirm? Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me now. And I see that Liam's got a question, and Liam says, what does he say here? We got machine logos, Lahudi. We got machine logos. Do you think, let me ask you this, Liam. I'm not quite sure what that means, but do you think I plaster my logo a little too much? All over the place? Let me know. This is why I mute myself, because I don't want to do this. Wolfpack, it's going well. It's going well. This is what I don't want to do. I don't want to take a drink, which I always have to do. I don't want to take a drink and then forgive me for grossing you out. I just want you to understand why I mute myself. All right, I'm doing this to explain myself. I'm just one of those people I always feel I need to explain myself. This is why I mute myself. Could you hear that? So I'll mute myself. I'll take a drink. See, I'll do it again. I'll mute myself. And then I unmute myself. You didn't hear anything, right? Anyways, I digress. So, hey, I've got my first vote here. I don't have A. The answer is D. The answer is D, Israel. Okay. And you know what I wanted to do, ladies and gentlemen? I wanted to put up a poll somewhere where people could vote, without necessarily, typing in or calling in, where I could kind of keep a tally. So I know I could do that. And then I could share my screen and, people could see it. But then I'd lose this lovely graphic over here. Anyways, so what else do we have? We've got a note here from Joe. So many people begging for attention from Trump hating. Who will be the boogeyman when he's gone? The dude is old AF. Yeah, well, hey, to your point, Joe Snuffy, Um, I, I'll admit, with all the options here, you know, this could look like it's kind of anti-Trump, and I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that. But what I will say to our friend Joe, what I will say is I am not going to push back on any of the answers. So if somebody, anyone, if someone like yourself, Joe, if you were to say, well, I think my answer is A, then I would just go down that road with you, and I would give you the platform, this platform, to share why you feel that way. And I would, I wouldn't push back. I wouldn't, I promise you this. I'm not going to try to make you look foolish or anything. I wouldn't push back. I would just say, well, tell me why you believe that. What are some of the favorite things about Trump for you? Or what are some of the best things that he's done in your opinion? Or what are some things that make him, a standout president in your eyes? That's honestly what I intend to do, and hold me to account. Call me out if I don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Got a big 67th day of war in Iran. Yeah, right. We got some laughter is good for the soul, carpe diem, and in a manner of speaking, I say that to my son every day. I I say it in a slightly different way in the morning, when I'm getting him up. I love the concept of carpe diem, but this is my version of it. It's perhaps not as refined as Latin. I'll say something like, good morning, it's time to get up. You've only got 15 minutes to get ready for school. And then I'll say, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. Let's get a good breakfast so you can make this day your bitch. And then he always admonishes me for swearing. He's a good boy. He doesn't like to swear. He doesn't like when I swear. And let's see, we've got another answer here. We've got why is it not showing? Okay, I would say D, just by his actions. Israel, certainly right now, that would be, like I was saying to our friend, where was he? Joe, was it Joe? I was saying to Joe earlier, I'm going to go down that road with you. So obviously Donald Trump joined Israel in the military action against Iran. Anything else come to mind that would make you say Israel, or is that just because it's top of mind right now? I don't think they understand condescending. The word has too many syllables. Condescending. I wonder if I've missed. I'm sure I have missed. I've missed some comments like this one here. Carpe diem again. Okay, why are you trolling MAGA? They have had enough. He embarrasses them every day. Leave Brittany alone. No, seriously, I've always said this. MAGA are not only welcome guests on my live streams, they're honored guests, and I know somebody brought out the term condescending. I really hope you don't think I'm being facetious or condescending there. And here's why. Let me just very quickly explain this so that you realize I'm not joking. I'm not here for clicks and likes and just, the formula of embarrassing people or getting into fights with people. That's just not what I'm all about. I think that the vast majority of people have far more in common with each other than they don't. Far more in common. And if you can just hear them out, you'll start to realize that. And if we provide each other with that opportunity to hear each other out, I think we'll find that we like each other a lot more than we thought. I think we'll find that the folks on the other side of the aisle, whether you're MAGA and you're looking at radical left-wing lunatics, or whether you're a Democrat or a progressive or a liberal, and you're looking at the other side and you're thinking they're, what do you call MAGA? It's MAGA, I think you'll be shocked to find how knowledgeable the other side is, how kind, how thoughtful. And I'm not kidding. And lots of folks on this platform know I'm not kidding, because we're pals now. And, they were more Trump supporters, and maybe they kind of still are, or maybe they're more moderate, or maybe they're libertarian. But we get along well and we hear each other out. We still don't agree on everything all the time, but we're buds now. So, hey, maybe one of those people will come on today and they'll share that with you. I hope I'm having trouble keeping up with the comments here. I don't think they understand condescending. Okay. Let's see which one. I needed a good laugh. You got a new subscriber. Thank you, Carpe Diem. Thank you. Oh, was it the make this day your bitch? Maybe that was what got the laugh. Either way, I'm happy and honored to have you aboard, Carpe Diem. I love the handle. You like your Jesus doctor. You are Jesus doctor? There's a question mark there. I'm going to ask Yam Husa. Can you elaborate on that? Just so I can respond accordingly. Thank you, my friend. Now, let's see. Wolfpack here says, I think he obviously not in control. He owes them big. They own him. So he is only the face, an entity, if one will say, while they are trying to control all narratives, which we can all see right through. I get you, Wolfpack. And maybe, Wolfpack, you've already voted. Can you elaborate on who they are? Forgive me. I know that's the thing with this question. I'm going to have a hard time keeping track just based on the comments. But let me see if this will work, ladies and gentlemen. Will this work? Will this work? Right. Okay. So let's see what this looks like. Okay. So I'm also giving you the opportunity, if you'd like to come on up and chat with me about your answer to this question. You can chat with me live, and I'm going to have to monitor my green room here where people come on in. You'll notice I have an earbud in, so I'll be able to hear you. The only thing I would ask is if you do decide to come on up, be respectful and genuinely share your answer. And I got to tell you, the answer I'm most excited to hear, I think, from anyone, like it would be A. I'll tell you that right up front. So if you're someone who thinks, yeah, no, I think Donald Trump works for the American people, like I said, honored guest, and I really want to hear from you. Not at all. to challenge you or to embarrass you. And, give me a chance and you'll see. Jimmy, I assume he's talking to me. You're a jackass. Jimmy the Jew from Philly. Again, love the handle, Jimmy. How's Philly? Let us know. We've got another answer here, and this is the popular one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta tell you, it's D. Another D here. Thank you so much, Azex. Azex is asking, well, what do you think? What's your answer? So I'm not going to share that. Because, again, I so want to make this live stream tonight about you, giving you a platform to share your opinion. Trying to be knowledgeable about everything that's going on is really tough. I think I've got a pretty good foundational knowledge of all the various facets, but it changes every day. Things are updated every day. So, I hope that I'd be able to have a good, intelligent conversation with you, no matter what your answer is. And here we've got an A. There it is. It's kind of hard to see there, isn't it? Is there a way to change how these pop? I'm sure there is a way. Okay. I'm going to have to look into that. My apologies to Carr there. Carr says A. So A, hey Carr, I'd love to speak with you if you'd like. We've got A and D here from Thea Vout. A and D, A, so the American people and Israel. And that's quite possible. I should have said, right, it's hard to get everything on that graphic there, right? But I should have said, hey, combo answers. I'm a retired teacher, and I was like the master at multiple choice questions. And they were often combo questions. And I remember saying and promising my students, if I make it a combo, I have to make it so that only the combination is correct. So that it couldn't be, A is correct and D is correct. And so you kind of have to pick A and D because it's more correct. I never liked making multiple choice questions like that, where, pick the most, the most accurate answer, the most correct answer. I was one of these teachers who always promised my students, if I give you a multiple choice question, there is only going to be one right answer. But not in this case. In this case, ladies and gentlemen, you can pick any answer you want. Now, I hope I'm not. I got my coffee as well. Cheers to you, bud. Wolfpack. Susan Wiles, Trump's current chief of staff, was also a key advisor for Netanyahu for many years. I didn't know that. Thank you, Carpe Diem. I mean, I know who Susan Wiles is. That amazing. What was the magazine? What was the magazine that did the big photo spread and everything, and had a big interview with her? I'm having a brain freeze right now, but she had the eyes. I can't fault her for that. I have those same eyes sometimes. Let me see. I hope I'm not falling behind. If you answer E, you're just uninformed. Yeah, well, hey, but you know what, Azex, what I've been saying tonight is, for myself anyways, I'm not going to push back. I'm not going to say, hey, if you answer any of these, you're stupid. You don't know what's going on. I just want to hear more from you. That's my promise to you. No matter what your answer is, tell me more. Okay, what makes you say that? Tell me more. I want to understand. And I think at the end of the day, we all want to understand. It's really important, right? That's just so important. And, what allows me to be like that? I just have respect for you. I have respect for people. That you'll never hear me. You can see a lot of these content creators out there, live streamers, whatever they are, commentators, and they're like, if you voted for this person or that person, I can never forgive you. Never. Not me. I'm not that way. So let's see. AZX says A, and I'm just going to, how do I do this here? I'm just going to remind everybody, check my green room, and I just got to scroll up, I guess, and see if I can find my, I'm inviting people to come chat with me, and I had this brilliant idea that I would just flash up the long, awkward link. Oh, there it is. There it is. I found it. Oh, I know. I'll star it. Pinned. All right. So here it is. There's the link. And from time to time, I'll take it down. And I'll, certainly if I have someone up to chat, I'll take it down while I'm chatting with them. But at least even just knowing that it exists will allow you to just say, hey, can you flash up that URL again? Can you flash it up? Because I want to come chat with you. Just ask you to be respectful. I'm going to be respectful to you. And so I just ask that you be respectful to me and to everyone else, because you don't know where everybody else stands, right? And something I love to do when I'm having chats like this, whether it's in the comment section or in a live stream or in an interview, I think it's really important to hear a bit more about people too, because that humanizes them. And it's very easy to other people, right? Make them the other. But you hear one little detail about their life. Like I just shared, I have a son. I have a daughter too, but I have a son, and for whatever reason, I never did say, I never got in the habit of saying to my daughter, let's get up, get moving, have a good breakfast, and make this day your bitch. I never said that to her. But anyways, you hear just a little something, like I'm a truck driver, or I'm a shot putter, or whatever. I like to throw darts at the local pub. You hear something from somebody that makes them a little more normal, a little more like you just wouldn't have imagined. So if you're, let's say you're a Democrat, you're a liberal, you're a progressive, we probably imagine, I said we. All right, so I make no, obviously I make no, whatever, I make no bones about the fact that this is a progressive channel. But my attitude remains the same. That is why MAGA are honored guests on my channel. All right. Okay, I'm really falling behind on the comments. Let's see. If you answer E, I think I was up to here. You're just uninformed. Okay. Let's see if I can get to the rest of these here. Zex, is that a you two? I don't speak emojis so well. I mean, I know some things, like the thumbs up here. So yes, thumbs up, he would be beholden to Israel. Carpe diem. Thank you, carpe diem. Certainly a lot of people believe that, and you know, I've got my ideas about that, but I want to hear from you. So tell me more. Tell me more about why you feel that way. We've got an A here from Azex. I think we've seen that A from Azex before. I don't know, maybe not, but I've seen Azex before. And then we've got a multiple choice answer here. Adrian, welcome, Adrian. He says ABCD, but not the Epstein class, eh? So the American people, MAGA, Vladimir Putin, Israel, but not the Epstein class. Well, tell me more. Tell me more, Adrian. And again, let's see. I starred my comment. I pinned it. Oh, I see. Oh. How does this work? Okay, I go up to the pinned. Ooh, look at that. This is working out well. So I'll just remind you, if you'd like to come chat with me, I'd love to chat with you. And I will be respectful. I just ask that you be respectful to me and to everybody else here. Because, right? How many people? We all have our different opinions. We're all affected differently. But we're all human. And have an inherent right to dignity. That's how I see it. So, looking back at the comments now, let's see, we've got AB. Oh, this is, you know what? I just noticed a feature that, okay, there's such a slight difference in color in the comments. I'm just going to go through all of them. We had a WhatsApp from Wolfpack, and again, Wolfpack was telling me that I was muted when I was muted. WSP, yeah. Okay, so now I figured out just from this ever so like 1.5 shades difference in the color between comments that I've checked in on, I've shared, and comments that I haven't. Bro, your channel keeping me afloat during Trump's madness. Thank you, Wolfpack. Thank you, good sir. I just assume Wolfpack's a guy, but it might not be. I don't know. But thank you. And also, bro, Wolfpack called me bro, right? So guys tend to call each other bro. Although my daughter will call me bruh, like, you know how it is if you have a kid. Carpe Diem says, I know, right? He talking to MAGA like abused children. I know, right? Talking to MAGA. Is that me? Was that related to the condescending thing? Genuinely trying my best not to, and I hope you detected the authenticity in what I'm saying when I'm saying MAGA or honored guests, because I truly believe we all have so much more in common with each other than we don't. And if you doubt that, I'll recommend a couple of videos you could check out that will add some cred to what I'm saying right there. Okay, so the first one is Confessions of a Former Card-Carrying Conservative. Guess who that conservative was? Yeah, that was me. I still have that card. I have my membership card. I was a member of the Conservative Party of Canada. So that's like our Republicans, up here. And then I defected. So I won't go down that road. So there's one video you could watch, and another video that you could watch that speaks to this very issue is Money Never Sleeps. It's called Money Never Sleeps. And so that is a video wherein I kind of go over this whole theory about how really if you're working class, and I'm working class, then we have so much more in common with each other than we don't. And it's really, whether you're in one party or another, I think that's really a matter of marketing. It's how marketing has impacted different people. And of course, other things, right? Like the people in their lives and the family they grew up in, and stuff like that, of course. But I digress. Let me get through these comments here. We've got some, are they laughy faces? But it's laughing and crying at Jan Husa. It was directed at Jan Husa. And we've got a comment here. Wolfpack says Israel. And Jimmy from Philly. Hey, Jimmy, did you rename your channel? Because there was another one that was like Jimmy the Jew from Philly. And now we've got Jimmy from Philly. Do you have like multiple channels? Or is it that's just a lot of guys named Jimmy from Philly? I don't know. Hey, we've got an answer here. Let me check the green room. Hey, remind me to check the green room every now and then, ladies and gentlemen, because I just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone who's waiting to come chat with me. C and E. Oh yeah, I get you. Again, feel free to elaborate. But I could see how that's a combo that could definitely work. As could D and E. Right? That would be a very natural combo. Potentially. And we've got Quinn Martin. Welcome, Quinn, who says D, Israel, definitely the most popular answer tonight. And I just want to remind everybody that the mic is open. The phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I'll say this. https://studio.restream.io. All right, so that's, I know it's a long URL. But then the unique part is /EKM-VPPQ-FAQ. I never noticed that before. I'll probably change the lives, this URL after tonight, just so that each stream would be unique. But I might hold on to that. EKM VPPQ FAQ. Anyways, okay, so you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's welcome to come chat with me. And remember, I'll say this, MAGA are honored guests in my live streams. Can I say whoever answers E is stupid? Well, of course you can. Freedom of speech, First Amendment, all that. But what I'd really love to hear from you, Azex, is why. Or what I also encourage you to say is, well, I think the answer is this, and here's why. As opposed to, well, no, I don't think the answer is that, and if you think that, then you're stupid. But having said that, there's nothing wrong with a process of elimination, good old process of elimination. So if you want to share some reasoning that you have about, well, I don't think it could possibly be this answer because of this. I'd love to hear answers like that. I'd love to hear input like that. So, let me know. So you're saying it's D. Am I saying it's D? I said it before tonight. I'm going to stick by my guns. I'm not sharing my opinion. People seem to feel they can divine my opinion anyways. I don't know, the shirt I'm wearing or something. But hey, I'll make no bones about it. I make no secret of the fact that this is a progressive channel. It's a progressive content, progressive political commentary channel. But there's a few things that are different about this channel, for what it's worth. All right, for what it's worth. One is the mutual respect that I have for all folks of all party stripes. I just firmly believe part of my personal ideology is that people are, for the most part, far more simple. And quite frankly, if you're not working class, if you're kind of, Epstein Class is in vogue right now, but let's, long before Jeffrey Epstein was ever born, the political spectrum existed. All right, he didn't invent it. And so there's the owner class, and those are the super rich people, often called the billionaire class or the oligarchs, and they don't really do anything per se. They just own. They own things. Now, are they necessarily evil? No, not necessarily. And is a working class person necessarily a good person? No, not necessarily. But I would say that, the owner class and the working class as individuals, I couldn't necessarily say about them that they have more in common with each other than they don't. They have things in common with each other, of course, but they'd have a lot of things that they didn't have in common. And so, what I'd say about democracy is that, if you're owner class, then it makes sense for you to vote for a conservative party. And so do it. It makes sense for you. Go ahead. I wouldn't begrudge them for doing that. But if you're working class, I'm not answering the questions here, but I am, saying this, and I made reference earlier to the video I made called "Money Never Sleeps," and in that video I lay out this thesis that if you're working class, then it really makes sense for you to vote for a progressive party. And the conservative party, in whatever country that you're in, like you could be in Europe, you could be in Australia, you could be in Canada, whatever, they have to convince you to vote for them because you're the majority. The working class kind of has to be the majority, right? The system wouldn't work. You need most people, look around wherever you are right now. Look at all the stuff that has been made. People somewhere had to make all the stuff, even just in this mug. I might have it. Oh, you know what? This is a great example right there. This pencil. It's a good old fashioned pencil. Now, which was the economist who made this point? And he's a classical economist, so that would be conservatives would support this fellow. His name is eluding me right now, but I've been retired for 5 years, almost 5 years now. So, I taught economics for 30 years. But he made the point that, like, just in that pencil alone, think of all the people who had to contribute to making that pencil. Like, you just think of everything that had to go into making the metal, the lead, the paint, the wood. And you start going down that road and you realize even just like the lubricants for the ball bearings that are in the wheels of the truck that drove the paint to the factory, right? It's amazing. Long story short, we need more working class people than owner class. Obviously, you look around at all the stuff you've got, all the people involved in making all that stuff. But yeah, so I would say to you, after 30 years of teaching economics and after almost 60 years of being on this planet, if you're working class, you should be voting for a progressive party. I'm not answering the question here. I'm not answering this question per se, but as a general, rule, that is some of my ideology. Now here's some interesting answers, and I'm sorry I've fallen way behind here. Make sure I got no one in the green room. Okay, so Epstein Class beholden to him now. Epstein Class, and that's from Benjamin. Epstein Class is beholden to him now. No, I get you. Right. No, I get you. Yeah. That's an interesting situation we have there. But yeah, he controls the files. So anyone in those files, he could nuke their life. He could just decide right now with a single text message, hey, Todd Blanche, release some files on this guy. I get you. That's an intelligent observation, Benjamin. And a very confident answer from Roxanne Swanson. Welcome, Roxanne. C. Roxanne says it's C. Tell me more, Roxanne. Tell me more about why you believe that. Glad to see you here, Roxanne. I hope everything is going swimmingly for you and your family. We've got Thea vote. D, the most popular answer of the night. Without a doubt, the most popular answer of the night. And Thea, tell me more. Tell me more. That's my challenge to everybody. Tell me more about why you believe that. Dr. Rand Paul, 2028, vote for a real conservative. Dr. Rand. Okay, so Dr. Rand Paul in 2028. Arctic Adjuster, can you tell me, sorry, forgive me. Like I was saying earlier, I working every day at this stuff. It's hard to keep up with it all. Can you tell us a bit more about Rand Paul and who they are and what office they're running for? Let's see here. What have I got here? Okay, I turned that answer off. Okay, sorry. Right, where are we at here? We've got Maine, Israel, great. Oh, so make Israel great again. So I'm thinking maybe Arctic's answer is D, and maybe you've already said that, and that's just the thing about about the comments. I'm forgetful at the best of times, so I can't remember what different people have voted for. But I'm assuming Arctic Adjuster is voting for a D. Lorna McKay says Vogue. So that could be a couple of things. So that could be, who does Trump work for? Vogue. It could be that magazine we were talking about, the White House Chief of Staff, and that magazine that she did the interview for. Why does the name still elude me? I think I can relate to my students who had like test anxiety. Like when I'm under pressure to remember something, it's like you feel like your brain just clamps down and says, nope, you're not getting that name from me right now. Right? There's something about that when you're under pressure to remember a certain name or a date or something like that. Sometimes it just, your brain says no. Guys, he believes LOL. And when you say he, my name's Art, by the way. You're watching Policy Watch with Art Lightstone. Sometimes people call me Green or Neighbour. But if you mean me, just feel free to say Art, just so we know what you're saying. So Rand Paul, let's see. Rand Paul is a libertarian. I run into a lot of libertarians doing this, and I like them. And a lot of my friends, can I say a lot? Some of my good friends, some people I have immense respect for, I feel that they are libertarian. We don't really have a libertarian option up here in Canada to vote for, but they look around and they kind of identify as a libertarian. Personally, I don't see how it could work. So tell me more about libertarianism. Personally, that's the part that I have a hard time with is how it could work. So I will give opinions on that kind of stuff, just basic political theory, but I'm not going to give an answer. I'm not going to give an answer to this. That's for you. That's for my honored guests tonight. You tell me your answer. Udi86 says he works for the American people. And feel free, Udi, and everybody, you're all welcome. But like I say, Trump supporters and MAGA, you're honored guests on this live stream. And I'm not going to make any bones about it. That is because this is a progressive political channel. I am not a Trump supporter, but I'm not a Trump supporter hater. And I don't agree with the polarization that has occurred in the United States of America, and it's also occurring up here in Canada, especially around elections. I think in that regard, I think probably most people could agree that we're all somewhat victims of foreign interference in that regard, right? There are other countries that creep in here and start engaging in their propaganda campaigns and trying to get us to hate each other. Reminds me of that Star Trek episode, right? With that funny little alien that just kind of looked like a swirly light, and it tried to make people fight with each other, and and it got energy off of that or something like that. But in this case, there are some very practical reasons, I think, why some foreign entities would benefit from social upheaval and polarization, civil conflict in our countries, right? So let's not give them the satisfaction. Just reminding you, anyone can come up and chat with me, but I do like to point out that MAGA are honored guests. And don't be surprised if you are a member of MAGA, or a Trump supporter. Maybe you're a Trump supporter, but you don't really identify as MAGA, whatever. Either way, honored guests, and don't be surprised if you do come on up and decide to chat with me. Don't be surprised if I ask you a few things about yourself. Just, hey, what do you do for a living? Do you have a family? What gets you excited? What do you look forward to? What do you worry about? These are the things I really would love to know. And I think they would shock a lot of people, because invariably we've got some Trump supporters on here and we've got some Trump haters on here. And in either case, if you share things about yourself, like the answers to those questions, half the people will go, yeah, right, yeah, I relate to that. And the other half will go, that shocks me because I relate to that. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Sorry. I think I had this up. Do you condemn the genocide, enslavement, removal of rights, or any violence of all that oppose you? Do you condemn? Of course. Of all that, or any violence of all that oppose you. Yeah, so again, I make no bones of the fact that I'm a progressive individual. Up in Canada here, if we had proportional representation, I'd vote for the Green Party. But we don't. So a vote for the Green Party would just be a wasted vote. It's sad. So I would vote Liberal. And so Ember Voigt, so given that I'm liberal, would I condemn the genocide, enslavement, removal of rights, or any violence of conservatives? Of course I would. If I'm reading your question right. Just checking to make sure there's nobody in my green room. So if that's how you meant your question, then like as a liberal, would I condemn enslavement of conservatives? Absolutely. That's absolutely. It's a powerful question. It's amazing that I think there's that kind of, that it's amazing that that is a relevant question. That's a relevant question today, isn't it? So I see why you'd ask that. I hope I've understood it. That's what I'm getting from it. I'd say America's, this is from Carr, I'd say America's interest is more accurate than people if it's foreign policy. I'd say America's interest is more accurate than people if it's foreign policy. Tell me more, Carr. I'm not fully understanding that comment. But we've got time. We've got time, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me more. Tell me more. Azek says, the first time Trump experienced Epstein being a pedophile, he removed him from whatever event they were at and had no further interaction with him since. Ooh. I will say this, AZEX, I have made a video on that topic. Now, the information that we have on that issue, I believe, comes from one of the Epstein files. Correct me if I'm wrong, AZEX. I was going to say, the information we have on that comes from one particular Epstein file. But invariably, Donald Trump has spoken about this since. But I believe the document that kind of supports that notion is the writer interview document. That is a report that was written by FBI agents. Now, their names are not known. They were redacted. But they had an interview with the chief of police for the Palm Beach Police Department in 2019. And this document was created. And then it was locked up in the Epstein files until relatively recently. Now, in that document, that is a document where you see that Police Chief Michael Reiter states that Donald Trump called him and said a couple of things. He said, "Thank goodness you're going after him." Everybody has known he's been doing this. It was kind of phrased awkwardly, but that's how it was written in the report. It was a quote, but how accurate was the quote? Did Michael Reiter refer to his notes at that point? Anyways, I digress. Anyways, what I want to say to you, AZEX, is I've made a video on that. It's rather long. It's perhaps a little bit boring. But it is called something like the writer interview document absolves Trump of nothing. So it does delve into that. It delves into the complete file, and it puts that comment that Trump made to Police Chief Michael Reiter into a context. And you absolutely can disagree with me if you would like, but you'll learn more about how we've come to know this notion that he removed. When Epstein was Trump was there this one time when Epstein had underage women, females. This is how it was said in the Reiter document. And in the Reiter document, he says, and I got the hell out of there. That's what he says in that situation. So I think that's perhaps what AZEX is referring to, but he could be referring to many other interviews that Donald Trump has given or statements he's made. Let's take a look. Roxanne Swanson says, "You must read the books by Malcolm Nance. If you haven't read The Plot to Hack America, it's vital to do so." I do have my little notebooks here. And when a really interesting comment's made, I make notes. And I'm making a note about that. Roxanne suggests I read. I assume you're talking to me. The Plot to Hack America. And I know you're saying this, I'm just getting to it. You probably were saying this a while ago when I was talking about the foreign interests interfering with, what's going on over here, especially in elections. Hack America. That does sound interesting, and it's by Malcolm Nance. You gotta love that name. Malcolm Nance. Thank you, Roxanne. Cheers to you, Roxanne. I am going to get that book right away. Azek, very wrong, Wolfpack. Now. We're all entitled to our opinions, and that's what makes freedom and democracy, and some would say that's what makes America so great. All right, so we just want to hear more from each other. The more we allow each other to speak, the more we listen with open hearts, open minds, the more we'll come to understand each other. That's my feeling. And in so doing, you'll come to understand yourself a little better as well. You might find, let's say maybe you're a bit of a resentful person, a bit of an angry person, a bit of a fearful person, or paranoid, hateful. You might come to realize you're none of those things, because you really don't hate anybody. You might find that. Let's see, Richard. Welcome, Richard. Trump was in the Epstein files over 38,000 times. That is the number, but that is how many times his name is mentioned. So in a given document, for example, I was just talking about that Ryder interview document. Michael Ryder was the police chief of the Palm Beach Police Department back in 2019, and well, gosh, 2006, I believe, and 2007 is when they started investigating Jeffrey Epstein. So yeah, he was the police chief. And anyways, just the number of times that his name was in that 1 4-page file, so you see what I'm saying? So off the top of my head, guessing, roughly, just to make the math simple, roughly 10 times a page, 4 pages, 40 times, but it was probably more like 6 or 7 times a page. Let's say his name was there 25 to 30 times in a 1 4-page document. So that doesn't mean 38,000 files. Forgive me, I just don't know the context here, AZEX. When AZEX says about what? I got to get through these messages quicker. And again, checking my green room, making sure I've got nobody waiting in the green room to talk to me. Trump is a Russian asset. Because I've said here tonight, I'm not going to push back on anything. I just want you to say more. I'm going to, nor can I say, you're darn right about that. So nor can I say that. But I'll just keep saying, tell us more. Tell us more. Tell us more, Roxanne. What makes you think that Trump is a Russian asset? Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen. Oh, thank you. I see what you're saying. See what does that do if I do it here? No, but can you? Where's the hearts and all that stuff? Funny thing is, sometimes when I'm watching, I find when I'm watching on my phone, I don't have all the hearts and I don't see all the comments and stuff. Fortunately, I see it on my system here, my big rig. Let's get through these comments. But yeah, hey, I'll just to the point being made here by Ember Void. Sharing, tapping is clapping, and sharing is caring. All right. So, please do, share the love. I'm afraid I can't see it from where I'm monitoring. I can't see the hearts and all that. And hey, I'd love to, all that. I just feel foolish asking for super chats or whatever. And I don't know if I'd see them. Actually, I see comments, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd see them even. So if you were to give a super chat, I don't know if I'd see it. So let me just see if I can pop up, get in here on my iPad. I think I can see them. I think I can see them then. So there we go. Yeah, look at that. So there. Now I can get more of an idea of what's going on here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing the hearts going. Anyways, sorry, I digress. But I can kind of monitor from my iPad here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Trump was Epstein's friend for a long time. He never truly ended the connection. He dropped dime and stabbed him in the back. Yeah, again, I've actually chatted about this very topic with Michael Wolff. Because Michael Wolff used that same expression. He dropped the dime on him. Dropped the dime. And so I've written a few pieces on that on my Substack. That's where you can kind of get more of the in-depth analysis on these issues. I do make kind of these quasi mini documentaries on these issues as well. You can see them on this channel. But it was on Substack that I was chatting with Michael Wolff about that issue. And I let Michael Wolff know this. I'll let you know this. I was mentioning my article about my video about the writer document, the writer interview. I'll just let everybody know here. Donald Trump called the Palm Beach Police Department about Epstein after the public knew that the police were investigating Epstein. And the police were investigating Epstein because they had received calls about Epstein. But none of those calls were from Donald Trump. Donald Trump, as Michael Reiter, made a point of pointing out in his interview with a couple of FBI agents in 2019. Oh, I've got a super chat. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. My apologies to anyone else. So 555 Chronos, $5. That's so rude of me. Anyways, I shouldn't have said, but anyways, thank you so much. And 555 Chronos says, Trump is working for the mega corporations with data centers. AI is taking all of the jobs. Yeah. I mean, I can't, tough to argue with any of that. I'll just say, tell me more about what makes you say that. Now, what I was saying though about the writer document and the dropping the dime, yeah, never truly ended the connection. He dropped the dime and stabbed him in the back. So if you're old enough to remember Columbo, the show Columbo, certainly I am, and Donald Trump certainly would be very familiar with Columbo. If you remember Columbo, Columbo is always investigating a murder, and he's in there, he's talking to people, he's examining the scene and, doing all the great stuff, very brilliant detective. And the bad guy, the murderer, because it's always murder, like in Columbo. I don't think there was ever a case of somebody stole something, somebody vandalized somebody, no, it's always murder. And the bad guy in Columbo almost always shows up and pretends to be helping Columbo. Pretends to be like, if there's anything you need, let me know. Because I know, like, I know this place, I know this, wherever the murder happened in the theater or whatever. I know this theater. I know everybody who works, and if you've got any questions, just ask. I'm at your disposal. Like, that's always how the bad guy was. And so, to my mind, when it comes to this dropping the dime on Epstein, it was so, reading the document, reading the interview, I believe that Michael Reiter was trying to make that very clear in this interview. But bear this in mind, this interview took place in 2019 during Donald Trump's first term in office. And it occurred just 2 months after Epstein committed suicide in jail. So I think Michael Reiter understood what was going on. And I should also share with you, if you're not aware of this, the 2 FBI agents that were visiting Michael Reiter and interviewing him, they were debriefing him. They wanted to know, so what do you know? What do you know about all this? And I think he was very guarded about what he knew. But here's the second thing. This is really important to understand. They were there in 2019. I think it was October. I think Jeffrey Epstein's suicide occurred in August of 2019. And then in October, 2 FBI agents show up to the Palm Beach Police Department to debrief Police Chief Michael Reiter, find out what he knows about Jeffrey Epstein and co-conspirators. They call them co-conspirators who they suspected of sexual battery. Really, really extreme charges that people in some states could get the death sentence for. All right, so there's that. Here's the most important thing I have to say about that. They were there to collect all of the files and all of the evidence, all of the records about Epstein. Okay, so this occurred, I believe, in October of 2019, just a couple of months after Jeffrey Epstein's death in the New York jail detention center, where he was in, like, for the evenings but out during the day and so on. I think Michael Reiter knew what was going on. I think Michael Reiter knew how to play it. So on the one hand, people kind of present that as like, no, Trump, like, he turned Jeffrey Epstein in. When you read the interview, you realize, no, Trump, in a panic, once he realized the police were investigating Jeffrey Epstein, he was, as Michael Reiter said, one of the first people to call once the public knew the police were investigating Jeffrey Epstein. He was one of the first to call once the public knew. But there were years before that, maybe a couple of years, possibly, maybe 18 months, when the police were secretly, I mean really secretly, investigating Epstein and his co-conspirators, to the point where they never left their files out. Every night they locked their files and their computers in a safe. That's how paranoid they were. Why were they so paranoid? Was it just because of Jeffrey Epstein? So I think they understood. I think they had a sense about Donald Trump all of a sudden calling them only once the public knew, only when the public knew that the police were investigating Jeffrey Epstein. Then Donald Trump called. And what did he say? He didn't turn anybody in because they were already investigating him. What did he say? He just said, thank goodness you're going after him. everybody has known he's been doing this. Word for word. I believe I've read that so many times, I'm pretty sure I've got it memorized. So how does that sound to you? Does it really sound like somebody who's innocent, or does it sound like somebody who's trying to distance themselves from Jeffrey Epstein? Enough said. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I'm falling so behind in this. Democrats are too afraid to talk. That's why all they do is kill people, like Charlie Kirk. Too afraid to talk, but apparently not afraid to kill people. Okay, yeah. I mean, expand on that. Tell me more. They're too. Even if you want to divide that into two parts, and I'll probably, gosh, at this point, I don't know if I can possibly catch up with all the comments. I've nattered on so much. But let me check here for any comments here. Okay, good. I caught up there. So, yeah, tell me, Ember Voigt, why, feel free to take on one of those at a time. Why are Democrats too afraid to talk? Or that's why all they do is kill people like Charlie Kirk. And let us know who they are. Just, are they the Democrats? That's how I read that. That's how I took it. But you'd have to let us know who you're talking about when you answer that question. Who's this? Now we got Larson. What if the answer is all of the above? And that would be a good answer. I mean, isn't that the tough part to being any kind of manager or any kind of boss or in charge of anything? You got to satisfy everybody. And so really, Larson, Christopher Larson, or is it Larson Christopher? I guess in that case, it's a really good answer in a way, because in a way, how could it not be? Think about that for a second. In a way, how could it not be? But I suppose for you, Larson, who's made that very astute observation, maybe for you the challenge is, well, who do you think he works most for? Who do you think he works most for? Moving along, David Davidson. Jews in oil are cool. Jews in oil. Trying the computer mute there. Is that an N short for and? Jews and oil are cool? Or is it short for in, as in they're in the oil business? Let me know, David. Let me know. Let us all know. Let's see if I can catch up with these comments before I wrap things up. I've gone much longer than I had planned. Let me just see if I can just catch up. Azex, since you obviously knew everything behind the scenes and know everything. Azex, again, feel free to call me Art if you're just so I know. I can never be certain if somebody's responding to the comment right above them or if they're talking to me. Yeah. So let me know. Wolfpack says, oh, he's talking to Wolfpack. No, yes, you were talking to Wolfpack. At Wolfpack. Yeah, okay. Thank you. And did you notice, if you haven't noticed this, when you're writing comments and you want, like in these live streams and so on, and you want to direct your comment to somebody else in the stream, just type that at symbol and you just have to start writing their name. Like if I wanted to write a comment to Corey Woodruff right here, rest in peace, Joe Rogan. Is there something I'm missing? You're scaring me now, Corey. But if I wanted to write something to Corey, I'd write at, and I just start to type Cory, and it would just pop up his name. It'll pop up any name of somebody in the chat. All right. So that can help us all just keep it straight about like who we're talking to. And if you want to talk to me, I mean, of course you could do that, but you could just call me Art. It's right on my shirt. And it's right up here on the screen. So, you know, I'm Art. And Crypto Total Recall, great movie, says A. And you know, crypto, I have been inviting people all night to come up and chat with me, and nobody has. Maybe I'll put this invite out one last time, just because it's getting very late, and I really do want to wrap this up. And I encourage you all to get to bed early. You know, we should all. Sleep is like magic medicine. There's nothing better you can do for yourself than get enough sleep. But if you would like to chat with me, here is the link. All right, you can come up and chat with me, and I'll let you in. I just ask that everybody be respectful. So there it is. It's https://studio.restream.io/ekm-vpq-fac. All right. And if you didn't take a screenshot of that, you just take a screenshot of it. That's the best way. But if you need a reminder, just say, hey, can you share that code again? And I'll share it. We've got somebody else saying chai saying all except A. Tell us why. Tell us more. Tell us why you believe that. Let's see if I can get through these comments. As a centrist-leaning right, I don't enjoy your posted content, but enjoy what you're doing on the live stream. No, I get you. I get you, because, you know, hey, I'll say this, though. I'll say this, AZEX, and thank you for taking the time out of your evening to watch this live stream. Take a look. I mean, like, I totally get you. I totally get what you're saying. Take a look, though, at those two videos. One is Confessions of a Former Conservative, and the other one is Money Never Sleeps. And I mean, I don't know if they go too much beyond what I've been talking about, you know, tonight, but I think you'll see the same vibe in there, the same philosophy, the same attitude, right? And I kind of yeah, sorry, I'm seeing more comments here about Joe Rogan. I'm really getting worried because I like the guy. Yeah, I do. I don't agree with everything he's done, everything he's said, but the general vibe, kind of like what AZEX is saying right now, like, hey, I don't like your content for the most part, but you know, your vibe right now, I don't mind it so much. And that's kind of how I feel about Joe Rogan. I don't agree with everything he says. Probably for the most part, I don't agree, but I like his vibe. I think he's probably a good person, you know. So, hey, Joe Rogan, he died. Yeah, that's what I want to know, David. I'm right there with you. Like, I don't want to take time right now because I'm trying to catch up with all these comments, but yeah, I'm kind of concerned here. Joe Rogan is 5'2", Wolfpack says. Yeah, I don't know if he's 5'2", but he's not a tall man. And I remember him from Fear Factor, but I would never have realized on my own that that's the same guy. But what did he do? He was like, all of a sudden, he's like, he's like the Hulk. It's like, he's like Dr. Banner when he was in Fear Factor. And now on the Joe Rogan show, he's like the Hulk. Like, you can't even believe he's the same guy. What did he do? What did he do? Is he on roids? Is he juicing? Let me know. I don't know how he did that. Oh, sorry, I missed this one. What up? Bad Chewbacca says, same old bad Chewbacca. What if the files expose the true rules? The true rules are evil cannibals and pedos, plus probably the true rulers. Maybe is what you meant to say, Larson. The true rulers are evil cannibals and pedos, plus aliens like UFO rule the earth. I think based on what we have seen of the files, can you imagine the stuff they're not letting us see? Right? Good God. Like what's in there? But they've exposed like this kind of cannibalism, pedophilia, of course. I'd have more faith in the aliens. Right? Wouldn't you? Christopher, come on, man. Says AZX. 1-star rating. 1 star. That's the handle. Gosh, that scared me there. I give you 1-star rating. Happy Wednesday, also known as Odin's Day, also known as Mercury's Day. Well, happy Wednesday, Odin's Day, and Mercury's Day to you. 1-star rating. Thanks for being with us. How long have I been nattering and you couldn't hear me? Oh my gosh. How did that happen? I took a drink. Thank you. 55 Chronos. And you're such a good guy because I only noticed your comment because 555 Chronos gave me a super chat and he said your microphone died. I saw it so tiny, the print. I was like, how did that happen? I muted myself again. I'm so sorry. So I was just nattering on about this comment. So hopefully I don't know how long my mic was gone. Did y'all hear me talking about this one? War Powers Act? Was I on for that? And was I on for when I was talking about the main difference between the two parties, our border policies and LGBTQ opinions? I would agree with that, and I would just always ask people to think about this. So I just ask people, when people mention the border policies, I'll just say, yeah. So, hey, tell me more about that. Tell me more about Biden's open border policy. For example, what's the name of it? Or did they just call it the open border policy? Now, there are differences now, because you could definitely say, well, yeah, Biden had this catch and release thing. But everybody did. Like, it wasn't just Biden, everybody, because there's so many undocumented immigrants in the United States of America. So you can't, you literally cannot fit them in detention centers, even now with all the funding. I mean, billions of dollars. And I just did a video on this today. That's my most recent video is on this issue. The money that they have to spend to try to detain these people. And at the same time, they're closing, or at least they closed, a major courthouse in San Francisco that already had a 15,000 case backlog, a 15,000 case backlog. So they're closing courts and they're opening and expanding detention facilities. So any way you slice it, that's going to cost you money. And you can see in the budget proposal from the Senate Republicans that just came out in the last few days, how much money they're looking for. More money for ICE. So, I taught law for 30 years. I mentioned earlier I taught economics for 30 years as well. And I taught law, economics, and accounting. So, here's the issue with locking people up. One, you lock somebody up, they ain't doing nothing good for your society. I mean, they could be cutting the grass on the side of the road, or, banging out license plates or something like that. But for the most part, you're taking them offline as productive members of society. And you are spending money, a whole heck of a lot of money, to just take care of them now. So, I used to address that issue on the political spectrum in my law classes. Emotionally, you hear somebody did something bad and you're like, yeah, lock them up. But you're kind of also punishing yourself as a society when you lock people up. So there has to be some sort of happy medium here. And, I had a little quote from an architect. He just happened to be an architect who was being asked about this idea of turning warehouses into detention centers. And he made the point that, do I feel people should be locked up in this old, renovated, repurposed warehouse? Well, if you're asking me if I think the painter who came by and did an amazing job painting our house and gave, for a really good price, and shared all kinds of lovely things about his family, do I think he should be locked up in this old warehouse just because he's from Venezuela? No. Right? So when you lock people up, you are also punishing yourself because you as a society have to pay for that person to lock them up. And it's a hell of a lot of money. And you're taking them offline as a productive member of society. So bear that in mind. You know, it's nothing in life is necessarily black or white. It's shades of gray. And so when you take that Venezuelan painter, lock him up, he's no longer painting, doing great work as a painter, offering a really good price. But rather, you are now paying to keep him in horrible conditions. Think about that, right? Just think about it. We got another vote for D here from Robert Boyd. Welcome, Robert. And I'm gonna just gonna burn through these comments, ladies and gentlemen, because we got to wrap things up. I got to let you get to bed, and I got to get to bed. Canadian Conservative is a left-leaning centrist in America, in my opinion. LOL, says Carr. Yeah, no, I get you. Totally get you. A conservative up here would be a left-leaning centrist, at the very least. At the very least. No, I think you're right. Underboss says America really believes Trump is Jesus in human form. Some people do. Some people do, my friend. Nobody believes that, Underboss. Come on. And remember, you can write the @ symbol too, and you'll go, I think they'll be notified. I think, I'm pretty sure, if you write the @ symbol, like say I want to write a message to Underboss, I just write @UND, and it's going to pop up his name, and I click on it, and then I write my comment, and he'll get a notification that I wrote him that comment. Your military said that shite at the start of the war. What are you on about? I don't think that was to me. I can tell I'm starting to lose my voice, and when I lose my voice, when I'm nattering on for so long, it just goes like all of a sudden, and then I just have to go again. Thank you. I have to end the stream. So just burning through these comments. Exactly. In American, and he is not Jesus. I'm American, and he is not Jesus. I hear you. Not definitely. I don't think most Americans think that at all. MAGA is just Scientology. You know, definitely. You know, there's a good argument to be made that it's, you know, that a religious kind of or cult-like phenomenon. I believe what your military personnel said to their subordinates before the start of the war. Tell us more, because you could be referring to a number of different individuals there. Those Vike tiny hats, Israel run Trump. So your Clubberlang, your vote is for D. But tell me why. This is what I'm asking of everybody tonight. Tell me what makes you say that. I believe the answer is A, because. I believe the answer is D, because. Whatever, man. I know. I think Azex is getting into it with somebody, but I'm not sure who. Underboss. You're one of those people that capitalize every word. Okay, sir. You have a good day. I get you. MAGA is just Scientology for Republicans. Donald Duck Antichrist. I wonder if I can use no, okay, this. Oh, look at this. Can I? No? I was wondering if I could go through the comments without using my mouse. Sorry, what happened here? Show, hide. I think your stream delay is wild. I typed that forever ago. Oh, you know what? It's not a delay. I have to physically go through these and click on them. So you'll see your comment pop up here, like in the normal stream, probably right away. but then I can broadcast it so everybody can see it up here. But that, yeah, I know. I'm so behind. I'm so, because I natter on too much. MAGA actually captured a lot of the middle. Yeah, they may have. They may have. They may have. We've got another vote for D, and dial up. That has been the most popular answer tonight by far. It's obviously D, says dial up. Tampa Bay Matt. Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh, they're a tough team. They're a tough team. Last I checked, people worshipped Obama like he was Jesus. I have a very high opinion of Barack Obama. Very high opinion. But even I, like at the time, I took note of him. I thought he was an amazing speaker. First time I heard him on the radio, I was like, who is this guy? He's such a good speaker. So I was pleased to see that, but I'm Canadian, so I wasn't that, concerned with politics. I don't know. I worshipped him like Jesus? Maybe. Somewhere between D and E. Israel in the Epstein Class, and there's a good argument to be made that it is a combo there, right? A really good argument that could be made there, and as well as C and E as well. That could be a combo. Hello, and I get fired from Long John Silver's. They catch me doing pot in the bathroom. I don't know. You got fired from Long John Silver's because they caught you doing pot in the bathroom? Gee whiz, man. Sorry to hear that. Minimum pulse. Don't do pot in the bathroom, though. Come on. Don't do... You know what? Pot doesn't do anything good for you long term. So, think about smoothies. Think about, I don't know, herbal tea. Matcha tea. That's how I start my day. I start my day with fresh squeezed lemon water, and then I move on to the matcha tea. Anyways, it's all about connection with people, really. Get high on life. That's what I say. I worked there you worked there for 16 years and they fired you for doing pot in the bathroom? Losing my voice. Right under, doesn't matter what you've seen, you're a stereotype, and I'd rather not describe your type any further. Right under. I think maybe somebody has a name that's under. Remember to use the @ symbol, and you can direct your comment to anyone on this stream. And if you want to refer to me, my name is Art. All right. Working really hard here. Why work? It's boring unless you are Google cybersecurity employees working on apps as content creators and chat users. Yeah, man, I worked hard for 30 years as a teacher. Like that's a job that could just about kill you. And it just about did. Just about did, my friends. I have to go. Enjoy talking with your chat, and that's Azex. Hey, thank you so much, Azex. Thank you so much. I hope I'm getting you before you signed off. I'm gonna feel so bad if I cut this off before I get to everybody. But these comments are. That's why I was looking for a way to just burn through them. Okay, so stupid that MAGA has to pretend that Trump's failed policies aren't affecting them like the rest of us when they're suffering at the pump, at the grocery store as well. That's why it's a cult. And that is from Darren Connolly. And I get you, man. I get you. Have a food one, Azex. Have a good one, Azex. Yeah. Dial up, please. Do describe me. Describe me how the feds that monitor me through devices describe me. Fascinating. Darren, only a small percent are a cult. Don't believe the hype. Yeah, I believe that, right? I've been nattering on about that today, right? And I'll never stop nattering on about that. Just get to know them. Just get to know anyone who you might think they're the other, right? The other. Just get to know them. What do you do? What do you like? What are you fearful of? What do you look forward to? What gets you jazzed up? Do you have a family? Do you have any hobbies, interests? Just ask those questions. And once you hear all that stuff, you realize, damn, this is a real human being. They're so much like me. And then the rest of the stuff, it doesn't bother you as much, and you can kind of have more of just an intellectual discussion about it. Orange Monkey. Yeah, we know who you're talking about. We do know. Describe me like Georgia Bureau of Investigation officer described me that night at East Point Courthouse in Atlanta, Georgia, when he said I wasn't human, that I was Satan. Yeah. I get you, underboss. I get what you're saying. I don't know, friend. I spent a lot of time in political chat rooms, and there's still many that still support this authoritarian regime. Yeah, of course, what I wonder about that, I know what you're talking about, Darren. You do have to take a little time to ascertain whether they're a real person, to tell you the truth. I don't so much think that it's bots, but I do think that there are professional trolls, like they're just paid to do this stuff all day long. And so just make sure you're not talking to someone who's just, this is what they get paid to do. But having said all that, there are many people who support Donald Trump. There are. I just don't think it's nearly as many as people believe. Satan is a pussy compared to me. All right, well, remind me not to mess with Underboss 25 then. I'm not going to mess with him. CD&E, Vladimir Putin, Israel, and the Epstein Class. And there's a good argument to be made for that combo. That's a very reasonable combo. And I get what you're saying. Asking this question lets me know you have an 85 IQ. Well, I'll have you know that I actually don't know what my IQ is. So I can't necessarily, I can neither confirm nor deny that. I'm just not going to mute my mic anymore because I get burned every single time I do it. So forgive me if you're hearing me swallow water. I agree with CD&E, says Darren Connolly. And yeah, good argument to be made there. Good argument. What do we got here? We got, you're a commie, that's why. And I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else. Remember, if you want to, talk to anybody else, write the @ symbol and just write the first 3 letters of their handle, and it'll pop up for you, and you can just click on it, and your comment will be directed to them. And if you want to refer to me, my name is Art. 3 letters. So I'm Arthur Lightstone, but you can just call me Art. Timu Henry Rollins. Are you talking to me? Because sometimes people say, hey, do you know Henry Rollins? You look like him. But I always take that as a compliment. So I don't know if you're talking to me, but I don't think I so much look like him anymore, but maybe. But sometimes I've gotten that more than once. Yeah, the working class are the people who put a president where he is, yet the working class is constantly voting against its own best interest. Why? Thinking long term is needed. Yeah. 100%. Take a look at my video. Money Never Sleeps. That's what it's called. Money Never Sleeps. There's a number of videos on this topic. Another one is Confessions of a Former Card-Carrying Conservative. And another one is Do Oil Executives Love Their Children? And it gets into all of this. But the one that's most on point to this point is Money Never Sleeps. Well, I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you, Aaron Richards. Well said. Can I get through all of this? Yes, well done, Darren Connolly. You directed your comment towards Mike. I'll bet 3 paychecks that you never finished high school. Oh, gee whiz. Don't get into that on my live streams, please. But I do appreciate you for writing the @ symbol. And so from now on, what I'll do is I'll just skip over those. That also allows me to know you're not talking to me and I can skip over them. America doesn't want the files. Too bad, because Europe does, and it will bleed over to America, forcing the issue. Know exactly what you're talking about, Underboss. I did research that and I made a video on that. And what is it called? The nexus. It's called the nexus between the modeling industry and sex trafficking. Something to do with that. Because the modeling industry was like really entwined in all this. And that's what got Europe into it, in my opinion. And so I am hopeful. I'm hopeful that you know, that the no matter what administration might be in power in the United States, whether it's a Democratic government or Republican, neither have done anything about the Epstein files. Maybe Europe will. Maybe Europe will. So in that video, I make the case for that. And we've got from Jason, a vote for A. And if I had more time, I'd say, come on up here and chat with me. But we've run out of time. We're past time now. Stupid question, bias, libtard. Thank you for coming out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Do not use 3821. Ooh. I'm almost out of water, and so I know once I run out of water, I'm done. Do not use if truth, facts, and evidence triggers you, fascist, then go the F on. Yeah, gotcha. Thank you for sticking up. Darren, thank you for sticking up for me. Some people were dropped on their heads when there were babies. Woke people must have been thrown against the wall. From the tick, some people were dropped on their heads. I get, oh, yeah. Some people, yeah, I get it. They're like dumb because they were dropped on their heads when they're babies. Yeah. Woke people must have been thrown against the wall. So they're super dumb. I get you. I get what you're saying. So woke people must have been like thrown against the wall. Well, I'll have you know that when I was quite a young child, I had my head banged against the ladder of the bunk beds. That was, I still have a bit of a scar somewhere. It's very faint. I believe it's from that occasion. Scotty Anderson says A, vote for A. That's also a popular vote. I'd say that most votes have been for D, but I mean, there's been a whole, spectrum. Probably most for D, but A's definitely the second most popular choice. Maggot, is that why the one Democrat who has brain damage votes like a maggot? Another vote, but I think that Scotty's like voting twice here. Scotty, voting twice. The tick, I'll bet 4 paychecks that you didn't finish high school. Okay. Just trying to, do I have a chance? Do I have a chance of getting through all these? Democrats support transsexual toddlers and illegals in polling areas. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Transsexual toddlers. I mean, this is why it's helpful. Anyways, tell us more. Tell us why you believe that. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like this idea that some people would support the idea of a very young, like a toddler, getting a sex change or something like that. Like a toddler saying, actually, I think I'm a boy. Or I think I'm a girl. Or, can I, transition to the other gender, even though I'm like 3 years old. Well, I'm a very progressive content creator over here. And I just say, no way, like, no way, don't be doing that. And, but I would say that about, quite frankly, any age. That's personally where I fall on that. I'm not going to begrudge someone, an adult who does it. I'm not going to say, well, you're an idiot. But that would be my advice. Like if it was my own child, I would say, you know what? You know, that it's a tough situation you're in. But the body you have right now, it's all working. It's good. All the nerves are, you know, intact. You start chopping that up and, you know, repositioning things and so on. That nothing's going to work proper. You know, it's not like we have a magic wand and we can just make you into the other gender. So enjoy. I would just say, make the most out of what you've got. But in you know, I don't want to go down too far down that. That's how I feel about that situation. Let's see, okay, Democrat fraud squad over here, and I'm not sure what that means. I'm enjoying your rhetoric, friend. You're intelligent and very well informed. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Darren Connolly. I'm enjoying your input and your fellowship as well. I'm fearful that I'm just not going to be able to get through these comments. I see that the viewership is dropping off. I mean, it's getting to be 12:15 here, and I'm sitting here nattering on, and I'm just afraid of not getting to everybody's comments, you know. But okay, so when I see people writing to each other, I'm just going to pass over that. That's for you. You're having a conversation there. Well, it's not B. That's B, MAGA. It ain't MAGA. That's a political tool for low IQers, not C, because really? D, he was always a Zionist. Smart Republicans knew this and still voted because policies are better. So in a way, I mean, I think if I'm reading you right, sometimes it's okay. I can read it here. Car. Oh, well, yeah, car. If I'm reading you right, you're saying, you know, they still voted because his policies are better. So, you know, you might also think it's A. And maybe you have said it's A in the past, and I'm just, you know, I forget. Danielle says A. Welcome, Danielle. I don't know if I've seen your name here until now. Welcome, and I'll just point out that A has been a pretty popular one. D probably the leading one, but A definitely the runner-up. E is just as dumb as C. The Epstein Class is dumb, and Vladimir Putin is dumb. Huh? Well, tell us why you think that. Would rather fight for Putin than Epstein. Tell us why. Tell us why. Israel is the synagogue of Satan. Well, I certainly, I just have to shake my head at what they've been doing. I don't get it, and I don't think it helps Israel's cause. I don't think it helps anybody what they're doing. I don't get it. Epstein was Mossad. The Jews worship pagan deities. Any in particular that we should know about a pagan deity? And do they have names? Do pagan deities have names? Trump most definitely works for the Epstein Class. Carl is brainwashed MAGA. Revelations 3.9, those who say they are Jews but are not and are of the synagogue of Satan. Jews who say they are Jews but are not are of the synagogue of Satan. I think that's how that went. Just a private conversation there. The Constitution failed. I would say the Constitution is definitely struggling right now. And if I had more time, I'd go on about that. Professor Jiang said this was going to happen last year sometime. I watched his hour-long class about the Israel thing before it went down. Yeah, I've been following Professor Jiang. A very astute professor and a good presenter. engaging. The prompt, its role of the POTUS to serve the American people and its interest. I understand the vagueness of the prompt for engagement purposes, but what direction are you wanting? Oh, no. If you're still around here, Car. I said at the beginning, I'm not going to push back on anything. I just want, no matter what people say, I want to hear more. And I'll just reiterate this, MAGA, I am a progressive content creator. I'm a, progressive political commentator. But on my channel, MAGA are honored guests, and I'm not being facetious. I'm not being condescending. And if you watch my video, Money Never Sleeps, or Confessions of a Former Card-Carrying Conservative, you'll see that I'm being genuine there when I say that. Trump works for C, Vladimir Putin. D, all day long. Farmers are bankrupt, groceries still through the roof, unemployment higher in decades than, and more jobs lost in decades, gas higher than when Biden left, and a war of choice. Still winning, maggots? You can't really argue with any of that. Epstein worked for Israeli. I get you. We are paying taxes to baby rapers. You may very well be. What was this one? And this was a multi one. Joe, welcome Joe. B, C, D, and E. MAGA, Vladimir Putin, Israel, and the Epstein Class. The only combo that, if you're going to play the Sesame Street game of one of these things is not like the other, it would be B. Like I could, C, D, and E definitely go together. It's hard to, tell us more, Joe, about how MAGA fits in with that group. Free America from Epstein's employers. That would be nice. So stupid that MAGA is so deep in a cult that they have to pretend that Trump's failed policies aren't affecting them like the rest of us. No, I get you. Cry. Oy vey. Oy vey. Oy vey. Also a popular answer tonight. And I see that I am working through these. I'm starting to get down. Trump says he's not leaving the presidency for the next 8 or 9 years. I believe he's going to kick the bucket before then, though. I believe you're right. I believe on both counts. I don't think he'll leave. And one of the earliest videos I made on this channel was, I think it's entitled, They Knew He Would Never Leave. I don't think he ever had an intention of leaving. I think he always kind of thought, well, once you're president, you're a king. And that's the difference between the first Trump term and the second. The difference is the Supreme Court ruling that occurred on July 1st, 2024, which gave the President of the United States criminal immunity for anything they do within their presidential purview under the Constitution. But what you have to be clear on there is that they don't say for anything that's legal, because you don't need criminal immunity for legal shit, right? You don't need criminal immunity for doing good things. So as long as it's something that's within your presidential purview, you can do it. So that's why we see the huge difference now in the second term. But I think in the first term, I think he thought, well, I can just stay. I can just tell people no, I'm not leaving. And they're like, no, get out. You're done. Get out. And I just think he was like, what? Can't I stay? Can't I, you'll fight for me, right? And he did that to the best he could. He, caused the whole January 6th insurrection, literally tried everything he could physically just not leave. Didn't work. He'll do it now, though. He'll do it now, and you know. So yeah, good luck. But I also think he'd just die before then. Yeah, he's like, his health isn't good. So Trump is working for your mom like we all are all night long. Thank you, Ryan. I don't know about that. I'm working for my mom. Trump is also back in the White House too. Trump is owned by the Epstein employers. You sound like a cock swallower. Well, I have to tell you, near the end of a long live stream, like, my throat is so done for. So there could be some truth to that. Texas Tony. Ryan, you sound like you're actually okay. Let's do Ryan. D, vote for D. It's been the most popular one, but A is catching up. A is catching up. And Trump is the one that turned Epstein in. He was also cleared by the FBI years ago. So yeah, I've nattered on about this a while back this evening. Take a look at my video entitled "The Reiter Document." That Reiter is spelled R-E-I-T-E-R. The Reiter Document absolves Trump of nothing. It's something like that. Take a look at that. Free America from the Epstein employers. Obama the Terrible is trans. Obama is trans. Oh my goodness. Could have fooled me. Trump is working for these mega corporations that have data centers. AI is taking all the jobs. I have to admit, AI is helping me out a little bit. I'm not AI. I get accused of that sometimes. Here's the old 3 fingers in front of the face. I don't know if that's a test, right? Ooh. But that picture right beside me, I didn't make it. You know. Let's see. Russia doesn't own nothing. All right. You swallow the orange spooge? Russia doesn't know nothing. The coin clippers own everything. The coin clippers. That's an expression for something. This dude sounds queer. Again with Texas Tony. Texas Tony. I don't know, what is it about me that sounds queer? Okay, sorry, Texas. Geraldine, exactly. Trump won. Cope. Okay, yeah. Actually, on that, you can see a number of videos on my channel about that topic. There's a lot of them. Maybe, but the one I would just say, start with, I guess, is he didn't win. How we know. Take a look at that. Let me know what you think. I bet he works like a daycare. Maybe, I don't know. Hey, by the way, Texas, if you're talking to me, my name is Art. Short for Arthur. And if you're talking to anyone else, just put the @ sign in your comment and then start to type their handle. Like if I was going to talk to you, I'd write @TEX and then your name would just pop up and I could just click on it and then you'd get a little notification that somebody wrote you a comment. Yeah, it works at a daycare. So in case you are talking about me, I'm retired. I'm a retired teacher. I do this now. NHH. Let us know what you're talking about there, Kyle. Welcome, Kyle. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. Yeah. well, maybe, you know, NHH, tell us what that means. I'm not, forgive me. I don't know what that means. Any Democrats work for the American people and not legals. Any Democrats work for the American people. And the thing is, that statement says one thing, and if you put a question mark on the end of that, it means the opposite. And I'm wondering if you meant to put a question mark on it or not. I don't know. Trump won twice. Maybe you also want to say that he won 3 times. But I will on that topic. So in the video, and there's a couple of videos on this topic. So one's called "He Didn't Win: How We Know," and another one is called "The Odds Are Astronomical." And there's a number of other videos on this topic. The fingerprint of ballot stuffing. The 88 county problem. There's a number of them. But I'll say this, okay, just on this topic. So when you look at the down ballot drop-off rates, just in the swing state of North Carolina alone, just that one state, you notice that that Donald Trump always received more votes than the next person down the ballot from the Republican Party. Now that is normal. That's normal. And that can fluctuate actually quite a bit, between 1% and 3%, but even as high as 5, 6, 7%. That's normal, but it's normal for both candidates. That's what you'd normally just see. Both candidates receiving more votes than the next person down the ballot from their same party. In North Carolina, however, and you see this in a number of swing states, there's 3 or 4 swing states where 100% of the counties voted, Trump received more votes than the next person down the ballot, and Kamala Harris received fewer votes than the next Democrat down the ballot from her. And so when you have that situation occur, where all of the counties voted more for Trump than the next person down the ballot, and all of the counties voted less for Kamala Harris than the next Democrat down the ballot, that means that the odds of one candidate or the other getting more or fewer votes than the next person down the ballot from their same county are 50%. It's 50%. It's like a coin toss. And so that makes it a very easy thing to calculate the probabilities of that happening naturally. Just happening just randomly. Just randomly happen. It's just happened like that. So let's take a look at North Carolina, because North Carolina happens to have 100 counties. So it's just kind of fun and easy to do the calculation. So the odds of that happening naturally, without interference, without manipulation of the results, just happening on its own naturally, are 1 in 1.268 nonillion. A nonillion is a 1 with 30 zeros after it. Now, to put the magnitude of that number into context, 1.268 nonillion. My music stopped. Has my stream ended because it's just so long? I don't know. Let me know. 1.268 nonillion seconds. Seconds, not minutes, not hours. 1.268 nonillion seconds is approximately 4,000 times longer than the universe has existed. That's the odds that what you see happening in North Carolina happened naturally, without interference. So Did he really win twice? All right. Um, who's it's okay. Trump won twice. Um, all my, anyways. Hey, you know what? I've been going on so long. It's 12:30. I'll never catch. Will I catch up on? Oh, okay, there's another. I don't know if this is, just how behind I am, but I am seeing the super chat there from 555 Chronos now. Um, and my apologies. I'm just so behind and I'll never catch up. So I'm sorry. I feel bad about not getting to everybody, but most people have gone to bed. You've been very kind. You, especially 11 followers or viewers right now, are still with me at 12:30. You're very, 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 very kind. Thank you so much for your kind participation, your kind and respectful participation. And I will continue to do this, and give everybody a chance to meet each other and learn from each other and to empathize a bit with each other. Until then, I'm going to sign off for tonight, and I wish you a very fine evening. I'll see you in the next one.